Have you ever wondered what makes a conqueror? Is it sheer ambition, military genius, or perhaps a dash of luck?
The enemy stands between us and our home. We will triumph or die.
In this exploration, we dive into the lives of 7 individuals whose names echo through history as the greatest conquerors. From the strategic brilliance of Napoleon Bonaparte to the feared Genghis Khan, each story is a mosaic of power, ambition, and impact. Let's unravel these epic tales and perhaps discover what truly makes one a legend. Napoleon Bonaparte, the Corsican Eagle. Napoleon Bonaparte, a name synonymous with military genius and imperial ambition, rose from humble origins to become one of history's most renowned conquerors. Born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, little did the world know that this young Corsican would reshape the European continent. His early life was marked by modest circumstances, but Napoleon's exceptional talent for strategy and leadership soon became evident. A voracious viewer, he absorbed military tactics and history, which would later become the backbone of his conquests. His rise began in earnest during the tumultuous years of the French Revolution, where he quickly climbed the ranks, displaying a unique blend of intelligence and audacity. By 1796, Napoleon had taken command of the French army in Italy, where he demonstrated his military prowess. His innovative tactics and swift maneuvers led to astonishing victories against the Austrians, earning him both fame and respect. Napoleon's ability to inspire his troops and his skill at orchestrating complex battles set him apart from his contemporaries. But Napoleon's ambition went beyond military triumphs. He envisioned a unified and strong France, a dream that drove him to seize power in 1799. Declaring himself first consul, he began a series of reforms that transformed France. The Napoleonic Code, his greatest legal achievement, laid the foundations for modern law in many European countries. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself emperor, cementing his rule.
I found the crown of France in the gutter and placed it atop my own head.
Under his leadership, France reached unprecedented heights. His grand army, an awe-inspiring force, marched across Europe, toppling old regimes and spreading revolutionary ideals. From the sun-bathed fields of Austerlitz to the snow-covered plains of Russia, Napoleon's name became both revered and feared. However, with immense power came immense challenges. Napoleon's continental system, aimed at crippling Britain's economy, backfired and strained his relations with other European powers. His disastrous Russian campaign in 1812 marked the beginning of his downfall. The gruesome Russian winter and scorched earth tactics decimated his grand army, a blow from which he never fully recovered. In 1814, following a series of defeats, Napoleon was forced to abdicate and was exiled to the island of Elba. But his story didn't end there. In a remarkable comeback, he escaped and reclaimed power for a brief period known as the 100 Days. However, his final defeat at Waterloo in 1815 sealed his fate, leading to his second exile to St. Helena, where he spent his last days reflecting on his legacy. Napoleon's impact on Europe and the world is undeniable. His military campaigns altered the geopolitical landscape, while his administrative reforms had lasting effects. The Napoleonic Wars fostered a sense of nationalism across Europe, laying the groundwork for the modern nation-state. But the tale of Napoleon Bonaparte is not just one of conquest and power. It is also a story of human ambition, the quest for glory, and the fragile nature of power. His rise from an obscure island to the zenith of European power is a testament to his extraordinary abilities, but his fall reminds us that even the mightiest can be humbled. Adolf Hitler, the architect of terror. Adolf Hitler, a name that evokes images of terror and destruction, stands as one of the most infamous figures in human history. His path from a little-known artist to the dictator of Nazi Germany is a dark chapter, marked by war, genocide, and profound human suffering. Born on April 20th, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, Austria, Hitler's early life was unremarkable. He moved to Vienna as a young man, aspiring to become an artist. However, repeated rejections from the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, and a growing interest in nationalist politics set him on a different course. In 1913, he moved to Munich, and with the outbreak of World War I, he enlisted in the German army, where he served with distinction. The post-war period was a time of great upheaval in Germany. The Treaty of Versailles had left the country economically and politically weakened, creating a fertile ground for extremist ideologies. Hitler found his calling in this chaos. He joined the German Workers' Party, which later became the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazi Party. His charismatic oratory and propaganda skills rapidly propelled him to leadership.
Dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes.
By 1933, Hitler had maneuvered his way into power, being appointed Chancellor of Germany. He quickly dismantled the democratic Weimar Republic, establishing a totalitarian regime. The Third Reich, as it was known, was built on principles of fascism, extreme nationalism, and anti-Semitism. Hitler's ambitions extended far beyond Germany's borders. He envisioned a vast, racially pure empire leading to his aggressive expansionist policies. The annexation of Austria and the Sudetenland, followed by the invasion of Poland in 1939, ignited World War II, a conflict that would engulf the world and claim millions of lives. Under Hitler's rule, the Nazi regime committed some of the most heinous crimes in history. The Holocaust, a systematic genocide, led to the murder of 6 million Jews, along with millions of others deemed undesirable, including Romani people, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and homosexuals. Hitler's reign was not only marked by war and genocide, but also by significant social and political transformations within Germany. The regime imposed strict censorship, quashed political opposition, and used propaganda to control and manipulate public opinion. Hitler's rule was characterized by a cult of personality, with his image being omnipresent and his word considered law. On the battlefields, Hitler's military campaigns initially saw rapid successes. The Blitzkrieg tactics overwhelmed countries like France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. However, the tide of war turned with the disastrous invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941 and the entry of the United States into the war. Gradually, the Allied forces pushed back against the Axis powers, leading to Germany's eventual defeat. The final chapters of Hitler's life were marked by desperation and delusion. As the Allies closed in on Berlin, he remained holed up in his bunker, refusing to concede defeat. His end came by his own hand on April 30th, 1945, marking the fall of the Third Reich. The aftermath of Hitler's regime left Europe in ruins. Cities were destroyed, economies shattered, and millions of lives lost or irreparably damaged. The Nuremberg trials, held after the war, prosecuted key Nazi officials for war crimes, establishing precedents in international law. Reflecting on Hitler's legacy is a chilling reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power and radical ideology. His rule exemplifies how fear, propaganda, and the manipulation of truth can lead to unimaginable horrors. It also underscores the importance of remembering history's darkest moments to prevent their recurrence. Attila the Hun, the Scourge of God. Attila the Hun, known to history as the Scourge of God, was a ruler whose very name conjured up visions of barbaric conquests, ruthless raids, and a fearsome reputation that left a lasting imprint on the annals of the Roman Empire. His reign, though relatively brief, marked one of the most formidable challenges ever faced by the Roman world. Born around 406 AD in the heart of the Eurasian steppes, Attila's early years were shaped by the nomadic warrior culture of the Huns. From these rugged beginnings, he would rise to become the leader of an empire that stretched across Europe, striking fear into the hearts of his enemies. Attila ascended to power in 434 AD, sharing the throne initially with his brother Bleda. He was not just a warrior, but also a shrewd leader, known for his diplomatic cunning and strategic mind. One of his first acts as a leader was to negotiate a peace treaty with the Eastern Roman Empire, which yielded significant annual tributes to the Huns. However, peace was not a lasting theme in Attila's reign. The Huns, under Attila's leadership, were a force of nature. Their military tactics, characterized by swift horseback raids and the use of composite bows, brought terror to the various Germanic tribes and the Roman provinces. Attila's strategy was to strike with speed and unpredictability, often attacking with little warning and leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. His campaign across the Danube in 441 AD marked the beginning of a series of invasions that would see him challenge the might of both the Eastern and Western Roman empires. Cities such as Nisus, Sirmium, and Ratiaria fell to the Huns, showcasing Attila's relentless pursuit of expansion and plunder. Perhaps the most famous episode in Attila's career was his invasion of Gaul in 451 AD, leading a diverse army that included not only Huns, but also various Germanic allies. Attila ravaged the lands of the Western Roman Empire. His advance was only halted at the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains, where Roman general Flavius Aetius, in alliance with various Germanic tribes, managed to check the Hunnic onslaught in a conflict so bloody that it was said the rivers ran red with blood. Despite this setback, Attila was far from finished. In 452 AD, he turned his sights on Italy, bringing his campaign of terror to the very heart of the Western Roman Empire. Cities such as Aquileia were razed, and the fear of Attila reached as far as Rome itself. Legend has it that a meeting with Pope Leo I persuaded Attila to turn back, sparing Rome from destruction. Attila's impact on the Roman world went beyond his military campaigns. His invasions contributed significantly to the destabilization of the Roman Empire, exacerbating its eventual collapse. The movements of Germanic tribes, pushed westward by the Hunnic threat, played a pivotal role in the transformation of Europe in the late antiquity period. Attila's death in 453 AD was as enigmatic as his life. He died not on the battlefield, but on his wedding night, under circumstances that remain shrouded in mystery. With his passing, the Hunnic Empire rapidly fragmented and faded, a testament to the force of personality that had held it together. Cyrus the Great, the benevolent conqueror. In the annals of history, few conquerors have managed to blend military might with benevolent governance as effectively as Cyrus the Great. The founder of the Achaemenid Empire, Cyrus's legacy is one of enlightened leadership, vast territorial conquests, and cultural integration, setting him apart as a ruler who not only expanded his empire, but also elevated the lives of his subjects. Born around 600 BC in Persia, Cyrus was a member of the Achaemenid dynasty. From his early years, he exhibited qualities of leadership and a keen understanding of governance and military strategy. His ascent to power began in earnest with the unification of the Persian tribes, which laid the groundwork for the establishment of one of history's largest empires. Cyrus's first significant military campaign was against the Median Empire, which he defeated and absorbed into his growing empire. This victory marked the beginning of a series of conquests that would see him subdue some of the most potent states of his time, including Lydia, Babylonia, and parts of Central Asia and the Caucasus. One of Cyrus's most notable achievements was his conquest of Babylon in 539 BC. Unlike other conquerors who might ravage the lands they conquered, Cyrus entered Babylon as a liberator. He respected the customs and religions of the Babylonians, famously issuing the Cyrus Cylinder, which is often hailed as the first charter of human rights. This clay cylinder proclaimed his desire to improve the lives of the citizens of Babylon, restore their temples, and repatriate displaced peoples. Cyrus's policies of tolerance and cultural respect were revolutionary for his time. He believed in the principle of governing through respect and benevolence, rather than fear and oppression. This approach not only ensured the smooth integration of conquered territories into his empire, but also earned him the loyalty and respect of his subjects. The Jewish community, for instance, revered him for allowing their return to Jerusalem and the rebuilding of the temple, an act mentioned in the Bible. Under Cyrus's rule, the Achaemenid Empire flourished. It spanned from the Indus Valley in the east to the shores of the Aegean Sea in the west, making it the largest empire the world had seen at that time. This vast territory was managed through a sophisticated administrative system that included a postal system, a network of roads, and a standardized monetary system, all of which contributed to the empire's stability and prosperity. Cyrus's military successes were remarkable, but it was his statesmanship and vision for a unified empire that truly set him apart. He recognized the value of diversity within his realm, allowing the various cultures within his empire to coexist and contribute to a richer, more cohesive whole. This approach was far ahead of its time and set the stage for future empires that would adopt similar policies of cultural inclusion and tolerance. His death in battle in 530 BC marked the end of an extraordinary life, but the beginning of an enduring legacy. Cyrus the Great is remembered not only as a powerful conqueror, but also as a wise ruler who brought prosperity and peace to a vast empire. His model of governance, based on respect for different cultures and religions, remains relevant even today. In Iran and the broader Middle East, Cyrus is celebrated as a national hero, a symbol of ancient Persian glory and wisdom. His mausoleum at Pasargadae is a testament to his enduring legacy, standing as a revered site of historical and cultural significance. Tamerlane, Timur, the turbulent warlord. Tamerlane, also known as Timur, occupies a unique place in history as one of the last great nomadic conquerors of the Eurasian steppe. Born in 1336 in what is now Uzbekistan, Timur rose from the ranks of a Turkic-Mongol tribal leader to establish a vast empire that rivaled the Mongols in its scope and brutality. From an early age, Timur was steeped in the warrior culture of his people, honing his skills in horseback riding, archery, and tactics. Despite suffering a debilitating leg injury that earned him the nickname Timur the Lame, or Tamerlane, he did not let this setback define him. Instead, he used his cunning, ruthlessness, and military prowess to expand his power. Timur's ambitions were clear from the onset. He sought to restore the grandeur of the Mongol Empire established by Genghis Khan. His conquests began in his homeland, where he consolidated power by uniting various Mongol and Turkic tribes. Once firmly in control, he embarked on a series of military campaigns that would make him a figure of both awe and terror across Asia. His army, known for its mobility and ferocity, swept through the lands of Persia, the Caucasus, and India. In 1398, he invaded India, capturing Delhi and engaging in a massacre that left the city decimated. The brutality of Timur's campaigns was not just a byproduct of his military actions, but a deliberate strategy to instill fear and discourage resistance. Tamerlane's empire at its zenith stretched from the borders of China in the east to the Mediterranean in the west, and from Russia in the north to India in the south. His conquests were marked by widespread destruction, but they also facilitated significant cultural and intellectual exchanges. Samarkand, his capital, became a center of learning and the arts, attracting scholars, poets, and artisans from across his empire. Despite his reputation as a brutal conqueror, Timur was also a patron of the arts and architecture. He adorned his capital with magnificent buildings, and his court was a melting pot of different cultures and ideas. His reign saw a flowering of Islamic art and architecture, much of which can still be seen in the historic city of Samarkand. Timur's rule, however, was characterized by a personal cult of leadership and a military-based administrative system. He did not establish a sustainable administrative framework for his empire, which relied heavily on his charismatic authority and military might. This lack of a stable administrative structure meant that his empire began to crumble soon after his death in 1405. Tamerlane's legacy is a paradoxical blend of cultural patronage and ruthless conquest. He is remembered as a complex figure, a warlord whose campaigns brought untold suffering, yet also a ruler who contributed to the cultural and intellectual life of the Islamic world. His empire, ephemeral as it was, played a significant role in shaping the geopolitics of Eurasia in the 14th and 15th centuries. In Central Asia, particularly in Uzbekistan, Timur is celebrated as a national hero and a symbol of historical pride. His mausoleum in Samarkand, the Gure Amir, stands as a testament to his enduring legacy, attracting visitors from around the world with its stunning architecture and historical significance. The story of Tamerlane is a reminder of the transient nature of power and the impact of individual charisma and military might in shaping the course of history. His life, marked by both cultural achievements and devastating conquests, offers a window into a tumultuous period of Eurasian history, where the fates of empires hung on the ambitions and abilities of formidable leaders like Timur. Alexander the Great, the Macedonian phenomenon. Alexander the Great, a name that resonates through history as a symbol of unparalleled military genius and conquest, carved a legacy that remains unmatched. Born in 356 BC in Pella, Macedonia, to King Philip II and Queen Olympias, Alexander's journey from a young prince to a ruler of one of the largest empires in history is a tale of ambition, brilliance, and the unquenchable thirst for glory. Under the tutelage of Aristotle, Alexander received an education that honed his intellect, fostering a passion for Greek culture and philosophy. However, it was his military acumen, inherited from his father, that set him on the path to greatness. After Philip's assassination in 336 BC, Alexander ascended to the throne at the tender age of 20, inheriting a kingdom poised for expansion. Alexander's conquests began with the subjugation of the Balkan tribes and the eventual destruction of Thebes, a stark warning to other Greek city-states about challenging his authority. But his ambitions stretched far beyond the shores of Greece. In 334 BC, he embarked on an audacious campaign against the Persian Empire, the superpower of the age. What followed was a series of spectacular military victories that stunned the ancient world. At the Battle of Issus in 333 BC, and later at Gaugamela in 331 BC, Alexander's tactical brilliance and the valor of his Macedonian phalanx shattered the might of Persia. By the age of 25, Alexander had toppled Darius III, the last Persian emperor, and proclaimed himself king of Asia. Alexander's conquests did not cease with Persia. He pushed his armies to the limits of the known world, reaching the Indian subcontinent by 326 BC. In India, he encountered fierce resistance, most notably at the Battle of the Hydaspes River, where he faced King Porus. Although victorious, this battle marked a turning point. Faced with the weariness of his troops and the prospect of further endless campaigns, Alexander agreed to return west. During his campaigns, Alexander founded over 20 cities, most notably Alexandria in Egypt, which would become a center of Hellenistic culture and learning. His policy of founding Greek-style cities and encouraging Greek settlement helped spread Hellenistic culture across his empire. Alexander's empire stretched from Greece to Egypt, across Persia, and towards the fringes of India, encompassing a vast array of cultures and peoples. Unlike many conquerors, Alexander embraced these diverse cultures, adopting Persian dress and customs, and encouraging his soldiers to marry local women. This fusion of cultures, known as Hellenization, had a lasting impact on the regions he conquered, blending Greek and Eastern cultures. The sudden death of Alexander in 323 BC in Babylon, at the age of 32, left his empire without a clear successor. His untimely demise led to the fragmentation of his empire as his generals, the Diadochi, carved out kingdoms of their own. However, the legacy of his empire lived on, deeply influencing the Roman Empire and laying the foundations for the spread of Greek culture and language throughout the Mediterranean and Near East. Alexander's legacy is multifaceted. He was a military genius whose tactics are still studied in military academies today. He was an empire builder who brought about a cultural revolution through the spread of Hellenism. Yet his conquests came at a tremendous cost of lives and upheaval. Genghis Khan, the Mongol dynamo. Genghis Khan, born Temujin, rose from the harsh steppes of Mongolia to forge one of the largest empires the world has ever seen. His story is one of resilience, strategic brilliance, and an unyielding desire to conquer and unify. Born around 1162 into a tribal society rife with conflict, his early life was marked by adversity, including captivity and betrayal. Yet, these challenges only fueled his determination to rise above the fray and assert his dominance. By uniting the Mongol tribes, Genghis Khan transformed a group of warring clans into an unstoppable force that would shake the foundations of the world. His first major campaign, against the Xixia and Jin dynasties of China, displayed his military genius and relentless approach to warfare. Genghis Khan's tactics were revolutionary. His use of mobility, psychological warfare, espionage, and the adaptability of his forces became the cornerstones of Mongol military success. In 1206, after his victory over the Mongol tribes, Genghis Khan turned his attention westward. His conquests stretched across Central Asia into the heartlands of modern-day Iran and Iraq, toppling the Khwarezmian Empire. His campaigns were marked by rapid movement, the encirclement of enemy forces, and at times, unspeakable brutality against those who resisted his rule. This brutality, though often exaggerated in legend, was part of a calculated strategy to instill fear and prevent further resistance. Genghis Khan's empire eventually stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, covering vast and diverse territories. This monumental achievement was not solely the result of military prowess. It also reflected his administrative genius. He implemented a merit-based system of promotion, breaking the traditional aristocratic power structures, and established a legal code, the Yasa, which governed the empire with a set of strict but fair laws. Under his rule, the Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting east and west, flourished. This not only boosted the economy of his empire, but also facilitated cultural exchanges and the spread of knowledge, technology, and religion. Genghis Khan, often seen solely as a conqueror, played an inadvertent role in the globalization of the medieval world. Genghis Khan's attitude towards religion was also notable. Unlike many empire builders, he was religiously tolerant, granting freedom of worship to his subjects. This policy not only helped him win the allegiance of conquered peoples, but also fostered a more cohesive and integrated empire. After his death in 1227, Genghis Khan's empire was divided among his sons and grandsons. While internal conflicts and succession disputes eventually fragmented the empire, the Mongol dynasty continued to influence the regions it had conquered. The Yuan dynasty in China, established by his grandson Kublai Khan, is a testament to the lasting impact of his legacy. Today, Genghis Khan is revered in Mongolia as a national hero and symbol of unity. His image adorns everything from currency to public buildings, a reflection of the pride and respect he commands in his homeland. However, in other parts of the world, particularly in the regions that bore the brunt of his conquests, his legacy is more contentious, often associated with destruction and loss.